Michael Schumacher had struggled to reach the heights for which he was famed during his second stint as a Formula One driver. But at Monaco in 2012, the German drove an utterly scintillating lap to take what would have been the final pole position of his career. A grid penalty for a previous infringement dropped him to 6th on the grid, but it took nothing away from what had been a superb performance and a reminder to all of the genius behind the wheel. At the 1995 European Grand Prix, Schumacher was hunting down Jean Alesi, going wheel to wheel in the fight for victory. Then, with 3 laps to go, Michael made his move.
Yes! Michael Schumacher takes the lead in the Grand Prix of Europe, and the Benetton team go berserk with delight.
A fantastic overtake around the outside of the chicane gave him the race win, and topped off an incredible drive that had seen him take 25 seconds out of Alesi in the 15 laps prior to his pass.
To say for Michael to win with 3 stops, this is for me probably rates it amongst his best wins, so big congratulations to him.
Having won the first 4 races of 1994, the Spanish Grand Prix proved to be a little trickier for Schumacher, as he found himself stuck in 5th gear for most of the race. Despite driving with an issue that would have seen many drivers retire, he not only raced on, but was able to match the pace of race leader and eventual winner Damon Hill, the Benetton driver fighting his way home to finish in an excellent 2nd place. Schumacher was chasing victory at Spa-Francorchamps in 1992. In changeable conditions, Michael felt the time was right to switch to dry tyres, and it was an inspired decision. Once those ahead had made their stops, Michael had taken the race lead, and he held on to claim the first of his 91 career victories at the very track on which he'd made his Grand Prix debut just 1 year before.
I don't know why, but when I was in the motorhome today, I thought I'm able to win this race, and I thought, I think my dream doesn't come up. And then suddenly the situation changed. I went in for dry tyres, and it was absolutely at the right moment. I really can't describe it. I mean, it's something crazy.
Fighting Fernando Alonso for the 2006 World Championship, Schumacher delivered a stunning performance at the Brazilian Grand Prix that matched even the most memorable of his race victories. A puncture on lap 9 dropped him to the back of the field, and almost a lap down. But he refused to give up, passing nearly the entire field on his way back to 4th place, finishing just 24 seconds off the race winner. He missed out on the Drivers' Championship, but he won all the plaudits in his final race for Ferrari. Schumacher made his debut with the Jordan team at the 1991 Belgian Grand Prix, standing in for the team's regular driver, Bertrand Gachot. The 22-year-old German was immediately on the pace and would qualify 7th fastest, 4 places higher than his experienced teammate Andrea De Cesaris. Sadly, his race would be cut short on the opening lap with clutch failure, but this one qualifying session had already done enough to attract the attention of other teams and earned him an immediate switch to Benetton.
You must be very happy with your result.
Yeah, sure, I'm really happy. The car feels really good, and it makes a lot of fun to drive, and also for the time, I'm really happy, yeah.
In 1998, Mika Häkkinen was 16 points clear with 5 races to go, and Schumacher knew he needed a strong result. With the Finn leading in Hungary, Ferrari tried something different.
Catching traffic, I want them in this lap. Pronti, tutti fuori, tutti fuori.
Schumacher switched to a 3-stop strategy, but he needed to post qualifying-style laps every lap for the whole race to give himself a chance of beating the McLarens. Setting fastest lap after fastest lap, he stormed to the race victory, thanks to a combination of team strategy and one of his finest drives.
I mean, you dream about the ideal result, and that was one of the dreams I have.
Having been caught out in a wet-dry qualifying session, Schumacher started from 16th place on the grid in Belgium in 1995. However, come race day, he mastered the changeable conditions, making a string of overtakes and fighting off his great rival, Damon Hill, to take top spot on the podium.
From 16th on the grid, did you really believe you could win this one?
I knew it's going to be possible to drive, certainly in the points and even probably on the rostrum. But to be first, no, I didn't believe this.
Having sustained a broken leg earlier in the year, Schumacher returned for the final 2 rounds of the 1999 season, with some critics doubting if his trademark pace would still be there. But in qualifying he went a full second quicker than anyone else, blitzing the opposition to take one of the most commanding pole positions of his career and silence his doubters. It was a truly remarkable comeback.
We expected to be strong, and I mentioned that several times this weekend. But to be second ahead, that was clearly surprising.
Arguably Michael's finest ever moment came at the 1996 Spanish Grand Prix, taking victory in torrential conditions. Having struggled with his Ferrari all season, especially in wet conditions, his performance on the day was out of this world and was a signal to all of his critics that here was a racer beholden of genuine greatness. Having cleared Jean Alesi, Schumacher then caught and passed Jacques Villeneuve to set up what would be not only one of his finest ever Formula One victories, but his first win with the Ferrari team with whom he would write his name indelibly in the history of the sport.
Michael Schumacher wins the Spanish Grand Prix after an absolutely superlative drive.
It's amazing. If anyone would have asked me how much I would bet on this, I wouldn't have even bet a penny on it. We have not got a present from anyone. I just pushed it to the victory, and the car has been superb, especially at the beginning, and I was able to do the job.